Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome! It is time for the Age of Empires 2 HD Titans League Tournament. The second day of the first round, in which we will see who will victor and who will die in agony. I am very excited for today, as we will look at the Castle and Imperial Age groups and find out who will get on top today. Let's get rid of the music and get that awkward pause in the music suddenly and get to the matchups of today. I'm so hyped. I've waited a long time for this moment. 4 or 5 days actually. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. Today, as I said, we will look at the Castle and the Imperial Age groups. First, we will see Olay versus Paper Stake, the epic clash between friends and people who know each other somewhat. Trout and Koekenbakker will also duel it out for the first points. Then Nadori versus Wildell. Then we will have a short break. After that break, we will see the Imperial Age groups games, with Aquila versus The Fate, KMA versus Totaldo, and Whoppersnore versus Flojo. Now, as I said, these are promising to be some very interesting games. I'm sure there will be some stomps too, but hey, what do you want? Before we will start streaming the games, I will have to ask you all to please follow the stream and help me out so I can get, I don't know what the rank's called, I guess it's called affiliate or something for Twitch, so that I can get actual money, which is awesome. And also, I like to get followers because I want attention from the internet. It's how I get my self-esteem. So please do that. It helps me out a lot. Thank you all. Before we will go to the first game, Ole versus Paper Steak, for the people who didn't watch the stream Tuesday, I will quickly go over the rules of the pick and ban phase. First, every player has to ban one civ. Then the second player bans a civ. Then the first player bans a second civ. And then the second player bans a second civilization. The civilization that gets banned can be played by both players. Then the first player picks a civilization. Then the second player picks a civilization. They can pick they can pick the same civilization, and they can pick mirror, and they can pick a random can't pick a random civilization. Also, which everyone of course knew, you cannot pick the same civilization twice or even 3 times or more times than one, is what I'm trying to say, in the same stage. So if you play the Mongols in the first stage, in the first game, you cannot play the Mongols in any of the other games. If you get out of the group stage to the knockout stage, you can play the Mongols again once. And then after in the semifinals, etc., etc. So all kinds of strategic choices to be made there. Without any further ado, I would like to go to the very first game of today. Let me load it up. Let's see here. It will be Ole versus Paper Steak. Why can't I hear my own game? I'm not sure. Oh, I can hear the sound. It's all okay. Okay, guys. Welcome to the first game. I will turn off the fog of war and look at our 2 players. First, on the bottom side, it is Ole as blue playing as the Celts. On the top side, we have Paper Steak in red playing as the Turks. Ooh, the Turks and the Celts. Very interesting map here with a bit of a big lake with a little river on the side. We will talk about the map later. First, let's go over the bonuses, of course, that the civs have. Let's go to the Turks first. Bam! There we go. Here we have the Turk civilization for Ole. The Turks are a very interesting civilization. They are a gunpowder civilization. I really like to watch them 1v1 because they are so... Well, they're kind of hard to play because you really have to get to that late game to be that gunpowder powerhouse that they can be. So, first, the bonuses they have is they have gunpowder units that have plus 25% hit points. Researching gunpowder technologies costs 50% less. And chemistry is free. Now, gunpowder use being slightly tankier is really nice, because what this means is that, for instance, hand cannoneers that you can build in the barracks can survive onager shots, which normal hand cannoneers can't. So that can be really helpful when you're failing a little bit at that micro and just get a little bit more shots in. Then you have the research technologies cost 50% less, which is excellent because a lot of those researches are very expensive and you can use all that gold in the late game to get more strong units. And then you have chemistry, which is free. This means that once you reach the Imperial age, and I think you need a university. I'm actually not sure, but I think you need a university. The moment you build that university, you instantly get chemistry for free, which makes your gunpowder units do more damage, which is nice because they're already very strong. Then you have the gold miners, working 50% faster, which is nice. It also ties in with that gunpowder unit civilization idea and gets you to that late game faster and gets those units faster because you're mining more gold with less units or more villagers and even more gold. That's just how the way you want to play it. And then you have light cavalry and hussar upgrade that are free, which can be nice, which also means that the Turks have a really handy way to getting to that Imperial stage a little bit safer, because they can do that scout rush, and then within that scout rush, when they're doing it, they can go castle age if they're playing it well, and get in and instantly get those scout cavalry, because once they age up to the castle age, those scout cavalry will instantly upgrade to light cavalry, and they are that much stronger, and that makes your push that much stronger, and it buys you more time to get to that late game. So that's a really nice, neat bonus that the Turks got there to help themselves to that stage that they want to be in. Now you have the unique unit, which is the Janissary. It is a very strong hand cannoneer, and one of those strong late game units that you should be afraid of once you have the chance of massing them up. Now you have the unique technology of the artillery that have +2 range. That gives +2 range to bombard towers, bombard cannons, and cannon galleons. It's nice because this also helps the, of course, the I've lost my train of thought. The gunpowder units. Not the units you usually use though, and the bombard cannon and especially the bombard tower is a little bit of a niche tower, a niche building, but I guess it's nice. Now you have the team bonus that gunpowder units are created 20% faster. Well, need I say more on the topic of the gunpowder units? It's all nice. It's as I said, it's one of the hardest civilizations to play, in my opinion, in a 1v1 situation. Some would say a weaker. I do not really agree with that, but interesting nonetheless. We see, by the way, a duck going down there for Olay. So trying to get that naval priority, and oh my god, I'm so proud of Paperstake. Look at that Wolof. He did it right. He's idling his villager. Well, that's maybe could be a bit better, but the Wolof, I'm very nice. I'm very pleased to see that. Okay, without any further ado, let's first go to the other bonus. And I forgot. Who's he playing? Oh my god. No, wait. Did I look at the? I looked at the wrong person. He was playing the Turks. It's okay. We're going to LA. He was playing the Celts. That's right. I've had a long day, guys. Don't worry. Here we are, the Celts. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter. We'll look at Paperstake now. It doesn't really matter. We're looking at the Turks. I'm describing the Celts. All fine and dandy. Well, I've already described the Celts, of course, Tuesday. I'll do it again shortly. Infantry move 50% faster. Very handy bonus. Very versatile bonus. You can use it in multiple situations there. It makes sense with the Road Raider, which I will talk about later. Makes your raiding with the raiders, your fast attacks, get them in out very quickly. Really nice. You have the Lumberjack bonus, that your Lumberjack work 15% faster. One of the better bonuses in the game, in my opinion, because it's also a very versatile bonus. You can get more wood, and wood is one of the premium resources in the game that you have to use for so much. You have to use it for buildings, you have to use it for upgrades, you have to use it for units. So getting more of that wood is so important. So very nice bonus there. Then you have the siege weapons that fire 20% faster. Celts are one of the best siege weapon civilizations in the game. Oh my god, we hear a house sound, a supply block. So annoying always, those supply blocks. But there goes the house. Oh no, that's I'm looking at Olay. It's Paperstake that's getting housed. Already built a house, so it's fine. Okay, and here too is already building a house. So they're just slowly building their base. Some scouting going on. Paperstake still idling that unit. Oh, it's getting painful now. We have some sheep hanging out over here, so both players missing out on some nice food, but that's alright, we're having fun. Sheep are not converted. One of the most hilarious bonuses in the game. Some shenanigans going on. Oh, some scout fights, and the villagers actually trying to follow that scout. Oh, all the fucking villagers are committing to this. Look at all the resources he's trying to... he's denying for killing this scout, which won't succeed. So he stopped collecting all those resources to kill that scout, and he even goes back. Paperstake just walking past the villagers again. A little bit of shenanigans going on. Well, I was talking about the sheep conversion. So it's a hilarious bonus because you can just steal sheep from under someone's nose, because they won't get converted if if one unit of your Celtic civilization is near those sheep. So it's very fun. There you have the Road Raider, a infantry unit you can make from the castle. It's really fast. It does a lot of damage. It's very good for what its title says, what its name says, raiding. So maybe we'll see some raiding from Ole there. And then we have the unique technology, the Furor Celtica, which makes your siege workshop units tankier. Also a very nice bonus with the faster firing units, and you can see the team bonus there. The siege workshop works 20% faster, so a really strong infantry civilization and a really strong siege unit civilization, and just overall a really good civilization that can be played on a lot of maps. I also like them on Baltic because they have that wood bonus, so you can get your ships faster, because as we all know, dogs cost a lot of wood. It can mess with your build order in the early game quite a bit, and then you have all those fishing ships and of course the galleys that will come out soon. So it's so nice to have that wood bonus. Yeah, let's see what the players are trying to do here. So we're having a slow game. It's minute 13. No players have clicked up yet. Let's see. Well, they actually did. Ole has clicked up to the feudal age. He will get there soon, and Paper Stake too. So they're pretty close as of now. And we see here that there are a lot of villagers at the boar. He pulled the boar actually to the mill. We see a farm that's not being worked. So I guess Paper Stake. Oh, he finally put his villager to work. Got that villager to. Excuse me. Got that villager to build a farm. And I'm very curious to see what these two players will do. Oh, we see something very painful here. I talked about it so much already. This is not a wall off. You have to wall that little extra bit of shore there. There we see Paper Stake going in the feudal age first, taking the lead. Does he have loom? He doesn't have loom. That's painful because that means that villager is probably going to die. Yep. That's why you take loom, boys and girls. That's why you take loom. That's a dead villager. Because Paper Stake didn't research one of the most important and the only actually research in the Dark Age. And also that villager dies all because he didn't take loom. I promise you that's the reason. Oh my god, okay. Oh. 2 villagers died. Idling villagers. Already seeing a lot of things that makes my head shake, but we will just go on and look if he goes ahead on top. Anyway, we'll see that Ale found some sheep there. Very nice. Paper Stake can't really reach those sheep anymore because he walled it off. He did wall off this shore though, so that went right, but he missed it out here. That's so unfortunate. I'm interested to see if he's also going to wall this off and have himself a slower game. Of course, as I said, he is the Turks, so Turks prefer that slower game, prefer it to get to that late game, get those powerful gunpowder units out. Actually, what's interesting is that both players are actually... Oh, yes, Paper Stake's building galleys. Ale is not building galleys, so that means that Paper Stake will have that naval priority very soon and will have the chance to pick off those ships. You will lose the wood that you put in those ships, and you will always also lose the potential food that you got. So it's not looking good for Ole in that sense. Paper Stake already in the lead with 100 points. Idling villagers though from Paper Stake still. Could go both ways. Idling villagers here. Get them to work, Paper Stake. Your villagers. You're paying them. You pay them valuable food. Both players not really expressing a strategy. Here we see that Ole built a Rex and actually is going for some very late militia there in the feudal age. Not very effective. I'm interested to see if he actually gets that upgrade to build them to men-at-arms, which could actually do something. But Paper Stake actually wall it off. But there's still that they can go past this. Though. It's not a complete wall off, and I'm interested to see if they will make it to the other side. But he's actually going to patrol them and use them defensively. And not upgrading them. And he built a blacksmith, so I'm interested to see if he's using the blacksmith to make the upgrades and attack, or if he's using it to click up to that castle age faster. As we see, Ole is not really stocking on the food. We see here Paper Steak with his first galley patrolling. That's sure, I like it. And as I said, Ole will have little to no way to cross this road because it is blocked, and Paper Steak has naval priority, so all the units that will attempt to attack this wall will get shot and can't really do anything about it. This side, however, has a very deep path into the land, which is not walled off, and if Paper Steak waits a little bit longer, he may get attacked. I'm surprised to see those militia. I won't tell a lie. I there heard a research sound. I'm not sure what that's from. It's not any armor or attack bonuses. So yeah, a slower game, which is not that much of a surprise in a Celts versus Turks game, I would say. They both really like the late game. However, I would give the late game advantage to the Turks. That gunpowder composition can really mess with the infantry that the Celts put out, and if you play it well, you can also pick off those siege equipment, which are tankier, but gunpowder units do a lot of damage, and the Turks do even more damage. So interested to see how the game will go. We will see that Paper Steak has that advantage though. And I think one of the reasons he has that advantage is that he is focusing on that naval priority a little bit more. He only has one ship more. Actually, yeah. Well, I meant fishing ship. He has one fishing ship more, but the rest, yes, it's looking good. It's looking good for Paper Steak. He's mining already. He's mining this faster. There goes the market, which is telling me that Paper Steak is trying to get Castle Age faster. I like it. This decision, this sheet will find out that this is not a viable route to get home and get killed there. But they will sure find another way soon. For the people who wonder how can I ever find out where my villagers are doing nothing, just press the dot on your keyboard. The period is what I'm trying to say. If you press the period key, your screen will instantly jump to an idle villager. Very helpful key. You should press it every 5 to 10 seconds in game to check if your villagers are doing nothing, because a villager that's doing nothing is resources wasted, and you don't want to do that. We see also Ole here walling off, which is funny to see in the first game, I think, because Tuesday in the Feudal and the Dark Age games, we didn't really see that much walling off. Here we see that wall off. I would have liked it a little bit more to the right here, so that he only had to wall off the 5 tiles instead of the 15 tiles. Wonder if he's realizing that. Also, the reason is you cannot defend this side of the wall, and you can't defend the entire wall if you've built it here on the 5 tiles. Also, for the people who missed it, why I'm talking about this on Tuesday, I keep forgetting. The general strategy on Baltic is very interesting. Baltic is one of my favorite maps because it allows people to play such a wide variety of strategies, and such a wide variety of civilizations is viable on this map, because you need to juggle naval priority and land priority at the same time. Why? As I said before, if you have naval priority, which means you are the most strongest player on the sea, and you have the option to actually kill everything that's on the sea or near the sea, you have the ability to defend your walls very easily. As I said before, you can defend this wall by just moving your galleys up here, and once they shoot this wall, you can just shoot the enemies back, and they can't really do anything about that. Here, same story. I would have liked Paper Steak to wall over here, which I will admit, this is a bit of an awkward map, but this would have probably done it. It would have at least put some pressure and bought you some time. So walling this side off isn't really really gonna affect that much of the game where it would if this would be a full lake where with a full wall off, as we see here. Well, this is, well, he actually finished it. That's painful. Well, we see Paper Stake going Castle Age. Paper Stake likes that. As I said, the Turks like that late game. They have the Castle Age, so they have the free light cavalry. Let's see if I can find Paper Stake Scout. Yeah, here you see it. It's instantly went to light cavalry, and they're a little bit stronger. So that's really nice and dandy there for Paper Stake. Putting down a monastery, going for some monks. I suspect he's building the monks for the relics, but maybe we'll see some awesome Turk push. They have the faster gold mining, so wouldn't really write it off as a wrong strategy, but we will see what he will do with that. We have the archery ranges and the barracks ready to go. We don't have any stables though, so he's not really gonna make use of that free scout cavalry upgrade there. Let's keep the throat hydrated so that I won't choke on my own words like I did in the last stream. Good fun. Here we see a very efficient placement of Ole's mining camp. However, I would say I would have placed 2 in this situation, because the stoneworker has to walk a little bit far and the gold miners also have to walk a little bit far. You generally want to place it 1 tile away from the gold mine, because when your enemy is going to harass you, you can very quickly put down some palisade walls in between the mining camp and the gold, so that the units, for instance scouts, or well, versus archers is not that effective really, but mainly versus scouts or maybe men-at-arms, you can just wall them off and the harassment will be dealt with very easily. So while I like the attempt to save 100 wood, it's maybe a little bit too greedy, and the amount of stone and gold you're going to lose from this is too much in my opinion, especially in a late game where stone and gold are pretty important resources. Gold especially, at least. Here we have the miners, the lumberjacks of Ole. Not too many. Would have liked to see a little bit more. He has those lumberjack bonuses, but still, you need a lot of wood on Baltic. You need it for the wall-offs. We see some battle going on. We see a lost fishing ship there that will find out that there was actually a armada, and will he react to that by building ships? No, he won't. So Paper Stake's just going to take this naval priority for free, get all the resources that are in, which is also a very important factor for getting naval priority, because all this food is yours. And once you've built enough fishing ships, you don't really have to invest anything into that anymore. Maybe build some extra docks to make the way your fishing ships go a bit more efficient. But for the rest, it's so much free resources. So getting that naval priority is really worth it. Paper Stake going for a university, getting that free chemistry. Chemistry is actually a Imperial civilization, Imperial upgrade, so we won't get it. I'm pretty sure. But Ole went Castle Age, so they're both Castle Age. And actually, what I didn't check if Paper Stake is making extra town centers. No, he is not. So he's not really making use of that lead that he has, which is a bit of a shame, because he could have been. Well, he is actually 1,000 points ahead, which is quite remarkable on itself. But still, if he had those town centers, he would have boomed even more. But here we will see a aggressive positioning, aggressive movement of the ships for Paper Stake. Will move out and probably go search for that dock that the fishing ship came from. He put a oh, it's actually a transport ship. We see some drop shenanigans going on right past there. So it's, oh my god, is he going to steal that relic? Please tell me that this is the please tell me this is the escort group to get that monk to the relic. Oh, the fishing ship even comes to help maybe get some holy fish out of the holy shores of Ole. I'm very sure this is just and let's see if does Ole have any clue. No, he has no clue. This It's a bastion of free gold just standing in his base. And he also has one right here walled off. And it will just be stolen right under his nose. But it will take a while. They have to rest. I mean, they had a long journey. They made it all the way to the other side of the lake. They've never been here because it's always been walled off. There were a lot of stories that it was the promised land. And maybe it is. Relics to be found here. That was a painful sound. My sound is a little bit too loud, I'm afraid. We see a wide variety of units for papers. Oh, there, he got it. Yes, it is the end. It's exactly what I expected. There you go. So long, Ole. Thanks for the free gold. Oh, there comes the first galley he actually built, but it won't see it. It won't see it. What a story. Oh my god, it's so amazing to see what kind of random shit happens every time again. It's amazing, I love it. So the relic will go to Paperstake land. I will see if Ole actually, because it's now, he actually, it was for standing right here, I think, and it's now out of the fog of war. I don't think he noticed, I don't think he realized what just transpired, but there we go. The monk will come out, he will of course rest a bit, because it's been a long journey carrying that relic in his hands all the time. Meanwhile, we see Paperstake making some variety of units, which I like. We see the skirmishers, we see the knights. I like it when players use multiple units in their army composition, because it means your enemy actually can't make one unit to answer your aggression, but actually needs to make more units and then use those units correctly. So really nice stuff there. Paperstake, as it appears, already has one relic, so it's really going for that passive trickling gold. As you know, relics slowly trickle gold, slowly give you gold throughout the game, and getting all the relics early on in a game can really make the difference, can really get you like 2 to 5k gold just for free. So, well, you have to make a monk, I guess, but there goes the second relic all the way from here, stolen under Ole's nose. Ole has no clue. Ole is just going for some units just to stand there, which is interesting. Because I'm of the opinion that if you make units, you really have to use them. And is this another... No, this is just his navy. Trying to maybe get some pickoffs, do the patrolling, maybe look for some new relics in the promised land. But all in all, just a really slow game, not really much happening. Here we see the army just patrolling, actually the demolition ship going down, but surely these two ships from Ole will go down, and with that the entire navy of LA will die. And I'm curious to see if Paperstake actually elects to now look for that dock and actually just stop his chances on getting navy at all. Here will the last fishing ship of Ole go, and yes, he will attack the dock, and I'm pretty sure that Ole has very little tools to actually deal with this. Isn't really making any other units out of it, isn't making another dock. So then at minute 38 the naval priority will actually go to Paperstake. Paperstake, here we go. These are the Janissaries that I was talking about earlier. Here we will see the might of the Turks, because this is where Ole will get in a real pickle. He is 1600 points ahead. His opponent is making strong Janissary units and he is not having much of anything. Still only 4 guys on gold, 2 villagers on rock, on stone. He's making a castle in a position I do not really like. You really have to use that strength, that defensive strength that your castle has. So maybe put it here, and well, maybe put it just a little bit here to the right, so that it can defend this wall from any melee attacks, and it actually has zone of control over all these resources, so it protects your villagers from getting harassed for free. So I would have liked maybe some defensive positioning here. We see the dock going down indeed. Maybe the castle going down here would also be nice, protecting his dock, preventing it to get destroyed, so you can maybe get your own naval priority back, and then of course protecting that wood line that is here. Still only 5 villagers on wood. Let's look at the population difference there. We have 39 population for Ole, 99 population for Paperstake. A huge difference there. So It's really going Paper State's way here. And once he will attack with his Janissaries, at this point there's not much that LA will do. That LA can do about it. He already, he is Castle Age, so he has that option to build extra town centers, which is so important to get your economy strong and get those units out. I'm curious to see if it will happen. Paper State continue just to get that naval priority in. I think at this point it's a bit overkill. Very nice to just get along, get way past that shore, look if any new docks have been built, and assure your strength on the sea. For the rest, we see Paper State just moving his units. Maybe is he actually patrolling these units? I think they're patrolling. No, he just moved them over here. Why not? He's making a lot of knights. I'm very interested to see what's going to do with all these units. Both players are making units. I was talking about that actually. When you make units, make sure to use them. You don't have to fight, going all in with the units, but you can maybe see here, if there's a gap here and you use the units to just walk past it, you can pressure your opponent and make him waste time dealing with your units instead of just getting stronger here. So when you're not using your units and you're just building them and letting them stand here, he's going for a drop. He's going for a drop. I think this will be painful for Ole. Not sure if it would. There go the Janissaries. So as I was saying, well, he's using them now, but there was a long time where Paper State made all these units that he didn't use, and that's all resources that you're using for nothing. This is just a bunch of resources used for nothing, so that's a real shame. So always make sure that if you make units, you have a reason to make them and to use them well. You use your resources in the best possible way you can think of. See more houses going down for Paper State there, not getting housed. We have a 55 population for LA and 115 population for Paper State, so it's really looking well there for Paper State. He's just, he is making a lot of transport ships, of course, because we are all about that drop tactic. We're going to see Paper State not wanting to deal with any of these walls. Doesn't really. Oh, there we see LA picking up his, I think, what is his first relic. Yeah, so he will also get that free gold in, but I'm afraid that it will be too late because he has archers not upgraded. He has long swordsmen with a +2 damage upgrade and the archers with a +1 damage upgrade, which is some road raiders actually, but it's all these units cannot deal with the units that Paper State is putting out whatsoever. The skirmishers will make short work of the archers. By the way, so will the knights and the janissaries, so those units are doomed. And then we have the swordsmen, really not a good unit versus janissaries and knights. So Ale will be in a world of hurt in a couple of minutes. I'm curious to see if Paper State is actually going to wait for all the transport ships to finish. Maybe he will click up to the Imperial Age, get some more upgrades before he does. I've already seen that both players like this slow and steady strategy and just wait out till my army is strong enough and then try to slam dunk my opponent to death and grab that victory. Both wood lines didn't really... Oh, he did reset the wood line once, but he could build another lumber camp there, and he could build another lumber camp right there, so your villagers don't have to walk all this way, which is all time wasted, where they are not cutting down the trees and gathering those resources, which you really need. If we look in the stockpiles, we see that he is stocking up on some food and a little bit on gold, so maybe that he's slowly pushing to that Imperial Age. And for Ale, he's actually using his resources quite well, but on the other side he isn't really making villagers. He is now, but we're looking at the numbers here. 12, 19, 21 villagers at minute 47. You should have around 110 or 120 villagers by this point, if not more, depending on what strategy and what civilization you're playing. So, Something to work on. And here we will see, I think it is all systems go for the Navy and the Army of Paper Stake. Nope, just a formation. Just a formation, just waiting a little bit longer for these armies to actually attack. We see multiple monks actually. He's creating some more monks. So interested to see what he's going to do with that. If he actually is going to use them to pick up those extra relics that are still on the map. There are 2 relics still. There are always 5 relics on the map. So we will have to see what he will do, or if he uses the monks to heal the units and make the units you're using that much more efficient. We actually saw Paper Stake now making the crossbows. A little bit late, but hey, he doesn't know it yet, but he will need them very soon. I'm very sure very soon we will see some kind of attack. Here will the Armada go. Nope, we're going back. He's not free. Someone went sick. Someone's sick on board. He has to get back. We have to get him back, boys. That's how we like it in Paper Stake Town. Oh no. We actually need an extra trip. He forgot the monks. They were screaming at the shores. And there they go. The escort navy of Paper Stake will actually go there. Paper Stake really likes to play it slow and steady and just make sure that everything's right. Get the transport ships in, get all the units in, get the navy back to escort the transport ship. Even though he has no units on the sea, it doesn't matter. His farms are depleting, but it doesn't matter because we're going to kill our opponent. Does Ole have any idea what's going on? No, he does not. There are units right here, and there are a lot of them. Wait. Oops. I'm destroying the replay. Here we go. Yep, here, there are units. The units here, and he doesn't know. He will sure know. Oh, there we see Ole actually picking up the next. Oh my god, this is painful. He did nothing for 50 minutes, and the minute Paper Stake elects to attack, he runs away with his army. No! Ole, please, go back. This is a mistake. He will find a stone wall that he cannot attack real fast. Well, he can attack it real fast, but he cannot bring it down real fast. And here is an interesting houseman placement. I don't think this walls it off, so I actually think you can just walk past it. But regardless, this army won't do much because Paper Stake actually has a decent army back here. And he went Imperial Age. And here is the go button. And oh! Ole sees it. Ole sees units. The Janissaries shooting up them houses. The monks going in, and they actually will be used for healing those expensive Janissaries and expensive knights. And here we will see Paper Stake actually taking the initiative, and Ole choosing to retreat with his army. I think a wise choice. And Ole realizing that he's in quite a pickle. He's running back with his units, belling his villagers, trying to defend him. But yeah, Paper Stake is coming to the conclusion that he doesn't really have anything to destroy the houses with, which you really need in order to win this game. So we'll see that this gives Ole actually a bit of time, and he will actually move his army up to the army of Paper Stake, which in my opinion is superior to Ole's army. So we will see how this will turn out. Here we have the knights actually clashing in with the infantry, and a fight will break loose. The skirmishers will not go into the fray. Yes, they will right now. There the Janissaries go, and they will shoot. No, they're not an attack move. Yes, there they go. They shoot. The monks are healing the knights, making them extra strong, but well, I guess I had it wrong. Those Celtic units are strong. Those Celtic units are very strong. They have the +2 damage upgrade, and they are moving faster. And for some reason, this is working, or is it? Because now the skirmishes are left, which are pretty effective against the crossbows. And here we will see the crossbows going down. And oh, I'm so glad the caster had it right after all. Yeah, he has the stronger army, and Ole has not really much left to answer, and he actually bailed all his villagers, so his economy is on a complete standstill. He went Imperial Age, but for nothing, because he doesn't really have anything left. He has a population of 26, with Paper Steak being on a population of 137. Not looking too good for Olay. To be honest, I think it is time to call the GG there, because there's really nothing that he really can do about this. Swordsmen don't really know who to target, and they just get executed by those Janissary. We're actually shooting at the siege workshop, so some interesting stuff there. I'm not sure if Paper Steak's just chilling. Paper Steak is taking his transport ships back and preparing the next wave, while still just mining his resources from far away, what should I call them? Like deposit buildings, I guess, if that makes sense. There we see the villagers getting reassigned probably to the stone over here. Let's see if they will find the gold over here. I'm sure he knows that it's there, so maybe he will reassign them to that gold vein. Olay elected to get his villagers back to work, and then realizes that it's gonna be hard for him. But as I said, I didn't expect that army from Olay to do that well. We didn't really see any micro going on. Just two people right-clicking the units of the other player and just hoping that the army would go on top. I'm guessing that is how it went. So if that's the way it's gonna be, well, I wanted to say everything's going to happen, but I'm afraid. I'm very afraid. Something I see here, which I do want to talk about, is the placement of the buildings here is very unfortunate, because, well, you cannot build any farms here. And actually, I didn't see Paper Steak building any farms around his town center, and neither did Olay. What you want to do, you always want to make your first farms around your town center, because it makes them more safe. If your enemy is doing some faster racing, some earlier racing, they're easier to actually bail in or get into the town center and protect your farms. Which, if you place your farmers all over here, and you have to retreat them for any harassment, they have to walk all the way over here to the town center, and then this farm can just be destroyed. Which some players will actually do, because it just loses, you lose the wood you put into the farm, so that's a very viable strategy there. Also, what he didn't do is he didn't put the one farm that he built to the right of the mill. You actually want to put the you put the first farms you're building to the right of the deposit building. I'm just going to keep using that word. Why? Because the farmers are always working on the right side of the farm. They are not using the entire farm. If you look at it here, she's walking to this. This is the outer spot of where she's walking. She will not use these farm tiles. She will she will also not use these farm tiles. So this is the shortest possible route she will take. So if you put the farms over here, they will only use that spot, and he will not go over here. So it's just I mean, it doesn't make a world of a difference, but it's just that little bit of efficiency that just can win you the game. And here we will see Paper Steak actually making a town center. That's an interesting choice. I would have thought that would be a that would be a castle to make janissaries out of, or maybe a siege workshop. I actually heard a trebuchet there. I'm not sure where it is. Wait, that was the sound of a trebuchet, right? That's not the sound of a mangonel. No, mangonels make unit sounds. I'm pretty sure. Where did the trebuchet go? Wait, did he make a he made a trebuchet? I have questions. Oh, there we go. It was a training, guys. It was just practice mode. He was just practicing his aim with those trebuchets. So actually, very interesting decision there for LA, making those very aggressive units. Trebuchets are almost only needed for aggressive pushes and to break open that base, to break open these walls, and then just attack that castle from a safe distance. Very strong and very essential unit in the Imperial Age to decide those close games. The game has been going on for an hour now, and we only have seen one real push from Paper Steak, so I'm interested to see what his plan is here. He just made the town center in order to, I guess, make more villagers to build the other buildings faster. Here we will see a Sable and a Siege Workshop. No real units being produced out of there, and I'm very sure that Ole has absolutely no clue that this is going on. He only has that very weak palisade wall here, so that will be gone in seconds. He partially built a stone wall and just went, whatever. I don't really need the wall. My opponent's just dropping me from the shores anyway, so whatever. See some cavaliers there from Paper Steak, just upgrading his units. As I said, Paper Steak likes to play it real nice and slow. Just get all the upgrades in he can get, and then attack when he finds himself strong enough. Some more Janissaries there. I would like to see aggressive castle placement, maybe over here, and maybe even just crack open this palisade wall real quick. Bring your villagers and then just place your castle somewhere around here, because Ole doesn't really have the means to actually defend this. And if he would do it right now, actually, that would be very effective, because here Ole goes again, trying to attack his opponent with a really small army. We are 1 hour and 5 minutes in, and this is really about the time where you want to get maxed. Well, actually, you should have been maxed 20 minutes ago, but still. And he has 50 population. He doesn't really have upgrades. This army will be cannon fodder, I'm pretty sure. But I'm interested to see what Paper Steak will do when he will see this army, because he will realize that he has the stronger army, I'm sure, and he will try to utilize that to his advantage. He has the trebuchets though, and Paper Steak doesn't really have a gate of any sorts, so he can't really react to the trebuchets. So yeah, interesting to see. There we see the units go. The trebuchets will surely follow. And here we'll see actually some interesting... He killed the wolves, because fuck those guys. And we see some villagers that will probably just maybe build another town center there, or just stand there for safety. We see villagers being built. I'm interested to see what he will do with that. Yes, he is making these villagers forward produce his army and reduce the time that he needs to actually bring them over to the enemy base. Meanwhile, we see Ole moving his army up. And going for the attack. Now, Paper Steak has his scout that upgraded to a scout cavalry, that upgraded to a hussar there, and that will finally die. And he actually... I'm not sure if you noticed it, but the sheep converted while the hussar was still alive. So that's what I'm talking about. You can just convert those sheep whenever, and the Janissaries will actually move upward and try to defend this. But there is a hill over here, and if you shoot upward to the hill, you do less damage. You do 25% more damage if you shoot down the hill. You do 25% less damage if you shoot or attack up the hill. That also works for melee units. So if two melee units are attacking and they're standing on different heights, they actually have those damage advantages and disadvantages. Now, we don't see Steak actually making some aggressive reaction. This is just standing here, and also these armies are not really doing anything. He's not really using the fact that LA doesn't really have any units in his base, which, I mean, he should know he has lesser units because he killed so much of the economy. Actually see a clash going on here, and we actually see some scorpions. I actually didn't see those scorpions. That should have been my bad, but we see the trebuchets. I actually do like this from Ole. I do like the placement. If he had more units, which is always nice, if he had more units, I think the strategy would have worked, but now his army is just too weak, and it will just get absolutely destroyed by Paper State that has Cavaliers, that has those Janissaries. They are elite Janissaries actually, that have the chemistry free upgrades, so they're so strong. And here units will just get cut down, so not much of a chance there. Sad face for Ale, yes, I totally agree with the sad face. And the caps lock LOL for Paper Steak. Oh man. A little bit of trash talking. Well, it's not really trash, but lol. Oh, and Ale says that he's playing really bad, or that he is real bad in general. Well, Ale, wouldn't call you bad. I would just call you, well, a beginner. You're special. Everyone's special. And you're also special. And yes, if everyone's special, everyone's still special. I believe in that. Also, you have much to learn. And I'm sure you're watching this and maybe scratching the back of your head a couple of times. But I'm also sure that you learned a lot. And that next game, you will shine. You will actually be victorious and get out of this group stage. I believe, Ale. But this game will surely go to Paper Steak. He was the better player in this game, and now that Ale's morale is lower than ever. Yes, the castle placement. As I said, this is okay, I guess, this castle placement. But I would have liked it more if he just crushed this wall and then placed the castle just right in his base. He has the army to do it. He has the power to do it. He is doubling his opponent in points. But still, very interesting that he did not build any town centers. Maybe it is because he didn't feel like it, and maybe it is because he is not aware that he can build more villagers out of more town centers. And as I said a couple of times, you really want those town centers to build more villagers and get your economy up quicker. So, yeah, something to work on there, Paper Steak. Both players showing mistakes, both players showing weaknesses, both players showing the cracks in their strategy for their opponents to exploit, and we will see if they will be used in the next week. I'm very interested to see when we see the Highland games, the map with one river going right through the map. We'll see if the players will use those strategies, those weaknesses from their opponents to their advantage. You actually have to click with your castle to attack buildings. They won't attack buildings automatically, which is interesting. So he will just use it as a production building. And I like the tenacity of Ale of just going on strong and not really caring about all those points that he's behind and all the death that has been brought to his camp. He's just making his units out of 2 buildings. Just make more buildings and make units faster. It's so much easier. Would also advise that, well, I actually made a second archery right now. Paper Steak has to be careful to not over chop here. It doesn't really matter in this situation, but you just really want to train yourself to keep an eye on the over chops, even when it doesn't matter. So you train your brain to actually make sure that your camp is safe by every mean all the time. And here we see Paper Steak just getting the villagers that stood here earlier to mine these stone veins, what are these? Stone mines, I guess. And here actually we see a lot of bombard cannons going to overkill city here, because this palisade wall will fall instantly. Well, not instantly, but very fast. There we see the first cannonballs. Well, actually that was pretty instant. That was actually pretty instant. As we've seen before, the Turks have these better cannon. There's a what from Ale. He doesn't know what's going on whatsoever, and he's saying, "What does that castle do there?" Yes, he didn't know. There was a camp here for, well, like the better part of 30 minutes, and here we will see. I'm pretty sure what will be the last clash of this game. There the Cavaliers will go in. Cavaliers are pretty effective, do everything that's standing there, and Ale will actually elect to fight next to the castle that's there. So this army will be dealt with really quick. And there will be a rip Ole from Ole. And I think I agree with that. I think it's all over for Ole. Well, it was actually over 45 minutes ago, but it doesn't matter. Ole's town-belling early, so again electing to stop his entire economy from working, which is not bad on itself, but maybe be a little bit more greedy. And again, that's one of the things when you build a extra town center. Not only can you make more villages, but you can also just use it defensively. Now, the town center will go down. There will be no town center left for Ole, and the castle won't really help him much either, because those bombard cannons will make short work of it. And it is all over. Another sad face for Ole. Being really sad about that loss. I can imagine he was just wanting to play a slow game of Age of Empires. Just build your camp nicely, build your units. But Paper Stake said no. I want you to die, and I want my first points. The castle will go down, and with that, the last hope of Ole to actually hold off this attack. And we will see if Ole actually elects to resign, or he will let this game drag on over and over for hours to come. My oh my oh my. Still units doing nothing. Little bit of theme of the game. Monks chilling, spearmen chilling. One of the great weaknesses, by the way, of the Turks, they only can make spearmen. They cannot upgrade this unit whatsoever. So if you're playing versus the Turks, something to keep in mind. One of the late game problems they have, that once they run out of gold, very, very big weakness of the Turks, once they run out of gold and there is no gold to be had on the map, they have a real big problem, because the units that are left are skirmishers and are spearmen and are, well, in that case, halberdiers or maybe pikemen. But the Turks, I think they are the only civilization that cannot make pikemen even, and that's where they really start to fall off. So if they cannot win with the expensive gold units, and the gold is all used, and the Turks are really weak, and that's one of the reasons they're not liked by some people. Very, very weak post-late game, as people call it. And there we will see actually Ole having 3 relics, so he was ahead on the relic count, but it didn't really matter. And I'm starting to question if Ole actually realizes that there is a resign button in this game, and I'm afraid that we'll have to wait until this scorpion will die, because I don't think sheep count. Pretty sure they don't. Well, almost all the buildings are gone, and Ole is super dead. Ole believes maybe Ole believes that this one scorpion with enough micro, the super micro scorpion with enough micro, that he can do it. And in theory, he can't, because Paper Stake has... well, I guess that if he leaves them on the shore, that they will die eventually. But, well, it's a lot of microing to win, and I haven't seen too much micro from both players. So here we just see the army of Paper Stake standing in the ashes of his enemy, watching over the corpses of friend and foe, maybe overthinking his life. And there the Janissaries will execute the super micro scorpion, and with that the game will be over. I'm pretty sure. Yep, that will be the game. So the first game will go to Paper Stake, a rather long game, 1 hour and 23 minutes rather. And yeah, well, slow game. It was looking like Paper Stake was going to win from, I would say, minute 15, and that was actually the case. So I don't think there will be any interesting stats there. We can maybe look at the relic gold here, what I was talking about earlier. So Paper Stake As I said, Ole had 3 relics and Paperstake had 2, but he got them so much earlier, and you see that 3k of free gold, so that's really important. And we see 67 villagers for Paperstake and 23 villagers for Ole. While this is a big lead for Paperstake, these are both way too low numbers. As I said, you really want to be on that 110, 120, maybe more, again depending on your strategy, but 120 is a nice mark to set for yourself. And here we actually see a graph that goes all the way to the right, just immense annihilation. Well, guys, I think that was it for the very first game, and let's not waste any more time, and let's just go to the next game, which will be Trout versus Koekenbakker. Koekenbakker, actually one of the more active players in my chat, as I'm seeing from my right, from my expensive second monitor that I of course have as a self-respecting streamer. Now, as I said with the draw show, Koekenbakker is, I think, one of the favorites to get out first in this group. He has some experience with Age of Empires 2, and he certainly has some experience with RTS games. So let's see if the game that we're going to see is going to showcase that, or if we see that maybe Trout, because I've never really seen Trout play, if we see the real potential of Trout coming out and get the better of Koekenbakker. So let's load up the replay. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get you into that game. Let me get to the correct screen. On the left, in red, it is Koekenbakker playing as the Vikings. Ooh, the Vikings, I like it. In the right, in blue, it is Trout playing as the Goths. Ooh, the Goths. Interesting matchup there. As you guys might suspect, we will first go to the bonuses of both sips. Let's first go to the Viking bonus. Can I click the button? Yes, I indeed can. Here we have the Viking bonuses. I really like the Vikings. I really like this pick because the Vikings are maybe one of the strongest picks for Baltic. And I'm actually surprised to see them for the first time here. And we will see why I think they are so strong right away. The warships cost minus 20%. So that makes your naval priority, getting that naval priority, that much easier. So really nice bonus for that map. We have an infantry of plus 10% hit points for the feudal age, and then it just ramps up throughout the ages. So really strong infantry civilization there. And then we have the wheelbarrow and handcart free. So these are both economic upgrades that you get out of your town center once you hit feudal age and castle age respectively, and it will get your villagers to be that much more efficient. And the Vikings get it for free and instantly when they get to that feudal or castle age. So real nice economic bonus there. And then we have the unique unit, which are the Berserkers. A very strong unit that actually regenerate health once you get that upgrade. A really sturdy unit, a really nice frontline unit. Yeah, so real good stuff there. And then you of course have the feared longboat of the Vikings that fires multiple arrows and is one of the strongest naval units in the game, if not the strongest, maybe tied with the turtle ship. One can argue about the one or the other. But yeah, so I didn't talk about. Well, I said Berserker Gang, so that's that the Berserkers regenerate health. So if they're out of combat, so it's like a couple of seconds, they will start regenerating that health. And then you have the team bonus, which is the dogs that cost less. So with the Vikings, you can actually get your dogs quicker because they cost less gold, and then you can actually make your warships quicker because they cost less. Oh, I said gold, I meant wood, of course. And then warships because they cost less wood. So you can make more, and you can make make them faster. So the Vikings are so strong as a naval civilization, and they are even stronger in my opinion in a map where both naval and land priority are so important, because you can get strong on navy with your strong and cheap ships, and then you can strong on land with your sturdy infantry units. So a really good pick, and let's see if Koekenbakker can put it to use right here. On the right we have Trout with the Goths. Let me put up the Goth bonus real quick. We have an infantry civilization here, and infantry units cost 25% less starting in the feudal age. Really nice bonus, maybe to get some feudal age harassment going in with the men-at-arms. But if a player actually walls off the sides in this map, you may have a hard time getting that rating down. Nonetheless, a very nice bonus for reasons I will get to later. Then we have that infantry have +1 attack versus the buildings. And actually, I'm pretty sure that this is true for the non-expansion games too. Walls do not count as buildings. So you do not actually have bonus damage versus walls. I'm sure someone will fact check that, and I'm pretty sure I'm right. Walls are a separate category of buildings, I guess. So, but you do +1 attack damage versus buildings nonetheless. So that men-at-arms harassment that I talked about earlier could be very nice with that bonus, and also with the feared Huskar, well, I will get to later. Very handy. Then we have villager +5 attack versus wild boar, and they carry more meat, so very efficient. As we can see here, it's nice that it's happening while I'm talking about it, as is what all planned. The villagers do a lot of damage versus these boars. He doesn't really upgrade loom, so the villager would have died if he didn't have the +5 attack. So that's a nice bonus to do maybe that with, but still you need the loom for countering any aggression. And then you have the extra carrying of the meat, so your villagers will be that much more efficient when farming the boars and the deer. And then you have the +10 population in the Imperial Age, which for some people might be a strange bonus, but we have the feared Huskar, the infantry unit of the Goth, and I think one of the most feared and famous strategies in Age of Empires 2 is of course the Huskar spam. You can build a lot of barracks in the late game, and you can get a lot of Huskars out, and you can get them out more than your opponent because you have +10 population. Once you have the Anarchy upgrade from the castle, you can actually make your special unit out of the barracks. And then when you get Perfusion, you can make them 50% faster. And then you get Conscription, which is an overall tech that I think every civilization can make it. And Conscription makes your production buildings built even faster. And then the Huskars can get out with an amazing pace. And well, once your Goth civilization reaches that point of strong Imperial Age economic boom, and you can actually get like 5 to maybe 10 barracks and just swarm your opponent with Huskars. It's really hard to deal with that. So we will see if Trout will actually manage to get to that late game. I think the Vikings are a good pick against the Goths, because Goths have a lot of pierce armor, but they don't really have a lot of normal armor. So infantry do counter the Huskars a little bit, but still gonna be an interesting matchup, I'm sure. And then we have the team bonus that barracks work 20% faster. Well, on top of everything that I just said, that is an even stronger Huskar spam. So Goths are all about the infantry. Something really important to note is that the Goths cannot make walls. And I think... No, that's not true. I wanted to say Goths can also not make palisade walls, but I think they can. Can I actually check that? I cannot check that. Well, actually you can. Let's go to the tree. Can they make palisade walls? I can just... Yes, they can. But you see, they can't make stone walls, they can't make gates, they can't make palisade walls. So he could have actually walled this off, but he doesn't. But that's one real weakness of the Goths. They cannot really defend themselves in the mid-game. They have to use their buildings to make a wall of around their base and try to stop their opponent from attacking them. And a lot of people will attack the Goths in that early and mid-game to stop them from getting Imperial Age and getting those Imperial Goth units in. We see Trout here taking the lead in feudal timing, going at a very nice 11 minutes. We see Kookaburra still being Dark Age actually, but with a 200 points lead. We will see him going for a second dock. We'll also see him having a lot of fishing ships, and we see Trout not having any docks or fishing ships whatsoever. So naval priority will probably go to the already strong naval Vikings. And we will have to see if Kookaburra will actually use this. Kookaburra still not feudal age. I'm sure he's getting there soon. He will go feudal age at 12 minute 30. Okay. He didn't really do anything, so I wonder why it took him that long. Maybe he focused a little bit on the fishing ships too much, but well, his opponent didn't really attack, so there wasn't really any reason to hurry, but still. Here we see Trout just farming his bushes and not his sheep, but I don't really like, because the food that you get from the sheep, you're getting it faster. Bushes are actually the slowest form of food gathering, so really want to wait with that as long as you can, because it makes your economy less efficient. We actually see the first barracks coming out for Trout. They have strong feudal age units, so we'll have to see if he actually manages to get those strong units in and maybe do some damage to Kookaburra's economy. Doesn't really have anything. Yikes! We hear a house sound for Kookaburra, so getting supply block there. Let's see. Yes, he's quickly building houses with 2 villagers to get rid of that block as quickly as possible. And here we just see 2 players chilling. We see Trout making his barracks. Let's see if he's actually making units out of it. No, he is not. So maybe he's just building it to get to that castle age, because as we see, he is stocking up on the food, so that tells me that he's maybe just making the barracks to make then some archery ranges and stables maybe, and then click up to the castle age. Meanwhile, Kookaburra is not really stocking up on anything, made a 3rd dock and is actually making some galleys. He actually has multiple galleys already, and here we see the wall of that I was talking about so long, and maybe the first player in the tournament to execute it. He did upgrade Loom, so he got attacked by the wolf that we see running away here, and he did win from it because of the Loom, and he will surely find out soon that the villagers doing nothing and finish off that wall. Here he built a house. This is a scouting house to see if his opponent will actually come all the way over here, and then he can maybe react by building a quick wall or just putting some units in a defensive position. But I also would have liked if he just built a wall of right here. He only had to defend like 5 to 6 tiles here, and he has the naval strength to do it. And what we will see actually is that Kookaburra is just going to use his galleys to get his like naval blockade on the shore and just make sure that Trout has no way of making a dock. Let's see if the line of sight is connecting. Not really, so if he is unlucky, Trout can make maybe a sneaky dock, but won't be of much use because you will see it eventually. And the Vikings have those strong ships. They're so cheap and you can make them so fast. So it's not looking good in that regard for Trout. Ironically, no Trout for Trout, I'm afraid. Maybe we will see some units for Trout. He actually started to mine his gold, and if I am not mistaken, he is not mining any gold at this point. So he's at 10 gold, which is interesting. He's using his last gold to get some defensive upgrades, which is pretty good. But he is not making any gold, so not mining any gold. So questionable. Hoping to see him actually mining some gold to get units, to get to castle age, and all the other important things you have to make. Stone is also important, of course, but it really gets important once you hit that castle age, when you need it for town centers, when you need it for castles, and well, you can already make some walls, but he's also not really doing that. Koekenbakker just patrolling this area, as we can see here, getting those sheep away from Trout and just really trying to get some information out of Trout to see what he may be planning, because it's all quiet. And as we can see, Koekenbakker actually, oh, there we have a follower. Thank you for following. But it was blocking my minimap. I don't think you can see it. Whatever. We actually see Koekenbakker here having a enormous portion of the map to his in his control. So he has a real good idea what's going on here. Actually built a outpost next to the wall. And here we actually see the wall off. As I said before a lot of times, I would have liked it here more because it's less defending and this is all out of reach of your galleys. But he is at such an advantage at this point that doesn't really matter. So maybe he's doing it because he's lazy, and maybe he's doing it because he's not really thinking that much. And he's just chilling back, hanging back, and thinking to himself, I'm having myself some free points in the starting stages of this group stage of the tournament. We actually see a marketplace and a blacksmith, and that also tells me that he's going castle age. And if I move my eyeballs upward, I see a red bar with the castle age, which indicates that he is indeed going castle age. And we will see some good Viking units coming out very soon. Maybe we'll see some longbows, maybe we'll see some berserkers, or maybe we'll see something completely different. His opponent is doing something, he's not sure what. He didn't actually scout into the base, so he doesn't really know what. Trout did elect to mine his gold now with 2 villagers. Could be some more, but you can't have it all. Trout now at a, my math, 900 points at disadvantage. And there we see Koekenbakker going castle age. Let's see how he makes use of that castle age. Fishing ships. He's not making any. He's instantly making a new town center. That's what I'd like to see. Once you reach that castle age at a 21-22 minute timing. A little bit late, but still far ahead from his opponent. And he's instantly making this town center to make more units. And let's see if he actually goes double or triple town center. 2 town centers is mostly what you will do, because it allows you to keep making villages out of 2 town centers and still have the economy to actually make units and not be completely susceptible to any aggression that your opponent might put out. Or you can go 3 town centers, which, well, gets you to make a lot of villagers at the same time, but it's really straining for your economy, and there's not really any way to actually make a good army. Maybe Koekenbakker will elect to do that, and he can put his food into the villages and his excess wood and gold into the naval units. Already has some really strong units, and we actually, as I said, we will see a sneak dock from Trout in a place that Koekenbakker did not patrol, so he will get it out. But I'm afraid, oh, he's actually starting with fishing ships. He didn't see any naval units, I'm afraid, so these fishing ships will die very quickly. See, double town center. I didn't really finish that story, by the way. So we have triple town center, and they also have the, yeah, he does go triple town center. So he is going for the more economic way, the more economic mid game, and just get more units, get more villagers, and then just roll his opponent over. He knows that his opponent is not castle age, so he knows that every second he spends in the castle age more than his opponent, he can grow more, he can grow faster because of these extra town centers. So really good stuff from Koekenbakker there. See if he can use that economic advantage to the best possible way. Actually make some units. We'll see some unit creation going on. It was actually for Trout, so he's still making the fishing ships there. Still no units made for Koekenbakker. Interested to see if Kookabakker will make a castle anytime soon. And where that castle will be. We see a university. Interested to see what kind of upgrades he will pick from that university. Maybe heated shot for an even stronger navy. Maybe treadmill to build your castle faster. Maybe he wants to build an aggressive castle and build it faster with treadmills. We'll see a barracks in the back there. Interesting positioning for the barracks. Would have liked to seen it more here in the front where they need to be. We hear the university sound. Let's keep an eye on that university and let's see what upgrades you will actually get. And we'll see a monastery going out for Kookabakker. I wanted to say paper stake. No, paper stake already won. I'm sure he will use it to get the relic that is up here. I'm pretty sure that he doesn't know there's a relic up here. That's a bit unfortunate. But he will surely get that monastery to get some nice relics for himself. Get that free gold. As I said before, guys, please follow my stream. Please help me out. I need the followers to get affiliate and get his stream legit. So if you like the stream, please follow me. It helps me out so much. While I'm trying to be a sellout, we see our first combat actually, and the galley will go down. And we see that the galley will actually double in size once it dies. Very interesting there. And we see an attempt to a wall off for Trout, but it is a little bit too late. Minute 28 is right around that time where you also want to get that wall down. And here we see actually the pressure coming through for Kookabakker, getting that dock killed and removing any possibility of any naval resistance from Trout. So it's not really looking good for our blue friend here. And we actually see a stable and a marketplace and the correct buildings to actually go Castle Age. And he is actually going Castle Age, so we will see Trout going Castle Age before his opponent has any chance to attack. And we'll have to see if he has enough time to actually get his first Huskarls out. It can be the unit to pick here, but I don't think Trout has any idea of what's going on. The only thing he sees are these ships here. He did scout the route, so he has an idea of what the map looks like, but he knows Kookabakker is here, but he has absolutely no idea what kind of units or tech are in that base. So he's in a bit of trouble. I'm not gonna lie. Idle villagers for Kookabakker. Also, Kookabakker makes mistakes, despite his unquestionable gameplay as of now. Yeah, so the university, I didn't really watch the university that well. I was really interested to see what he made out of that university. A lot of stone miners, a lot of them, which is telling me that he is aspiring to make a castle, and the fact that he's waiting this long with making his castle it can mean one of two things. One, he is just not making a castle and he's just forgetting about it, which I doubt. And the second thing is that he will maybe use the stone. He needs 650 stone to get the castle. No, we'll actually put it on the shore. I would have thought that he maybe would go for some aggressive castle placement and just, well, build a base in his opponent's base, but nope, he's just going to build it around the shore. Would have liked it next to his docks a bit more. Just, I mean, again, in this case it doesn't matter, but you always want to think how you can play better, and once he put it next to his docks to defend it, it would have been that much better. In the off chance that the opponent would have a sneak naval army, crushed his navy and just got rid of this dock. So Kookabakker, some free advice for you there. But I guess Kookabakker, as I said, is just having a good time, not thinking about it too much, just scouting around, having some idle sheep. I'm not sure what the villager's doing there. Maybe that villager, well, I guess it got blocked off, just like these sheep, and just now standing there. We see an Imperial age at minute 32 for Kookabakker. That's a very respectable time. And once again, Kookabakker seems to be one of those players that just likes to wait it out a little bit and just wait and see what his opponent is doing, and to make sure that the right strategy will be used for killing his opponent. I'm interested to see what he will do once he finishes this castle. If the go switch, if the kill button, the kill switch will go on for Koekenbakker and attack his opponent, that is, of course, Trout. Instantly getting to that lumber camp, never idling your villagers. And he's actually going for chemistry. So the chemistry is probably for the trebuchets that he will make. I think Koekenbakker is preparing for some all-out attack to, in one go, just kill his opponent. I'm not sure if the Vikings can make gunpowder units. I don't want to check the tech tree that often, but I don't think they can. Pretty sure they can't make hand cannoneers or any gunpowder units. Maybe they can make cannon galleons, but I'm pretty sure that it will be for the trebuchets that he will make. Trout, still castle age, which is not really that strange. Minute 34 is not a weird time to still be castle age, but I really would like to see an extra town center and get your economy booming some more, so hoping for Trout to do that. He actually drops down a castle in a interesting place. I mean, it's next to the stone that he's potentially going to mine. It is up a wall. No, it's actually not. You also, if you want to build a building on top of a wall, you have to look at the center tiles of where you're building it. And I think there's one tile here in the snow. Even with the grid, I cannot really see it. I think, yeah, here we see that shore power that you have, and once one unit is just walking past the shore, it's just going to kill. There is no way he will ever get to these walls. As I was saying, you have to look at the center tiles of the castle. Why would you want to build a castle on top of a wall? Well, castles also benefit from that damage bonus that I was talking about earlier. So arrows or attacks that go downhill do more damage. So if your castle is attacking units from downhill, they actually do more damage. Castles already do a lot of damage. So yeah, that's really nice placement there. Although again, I'm not sure if it is on a hill here. I don't think so, actually. I think the majority of the center tiles have to be on a hill. I think that's how it goes. So a future protection of the resources here from Trout. Not wrong. Not the best option per se. Would have liked it here, maybe over here, even over here, and then maybe over here. Maybe if he moves his entire economy to this place, that is a viable strategy. But we will have to see about that. Meanwhile, we see again that Koekenbakker has the entire map under his control. A lot of fishing ships just gathering all that food. And here we see Koekenbakker actually using, and yes, the Vikings can make cannon galleons. Of course they can, they are the Vikings. And here Koekenbakker made them, and he will use them to bring down these walls and to bring down these houses. We have the castle for Koekenbakker still doing sweet fuck all. And we have actually 5 dogs for Koekenbakker doing something. They're making cannon galleons. A siege workshop is going down, and Koekenbakker is probably going for some transport ships and just not bothering making any gates in his walls and just shipping his units to the other side of the map and just crushing his opponent. That is nearly finishing his castle. And that is just having a good time in his base. He has absolutely no clue that his opponent is a little bit strong. Maybe he has his point button on, and he sees that he is more than 4,000 points behind, which is a bit yikers. And as I said before, Koekenbakker, of course, one of the favorites to get out of this group first. And yeah, this is why real strong economic skills there, just building the multiple town centers, trying to let his villagers, well, there we have some clumping villagers maybe, so a little bit like always watch your villagers, how many villagers you're putting on gold. If you're putting too much villagers on gold or on wood or whatever resource, they will clump together and you will lose efficiency. Here we see more clumping, all kinds of time are lost. Such a shame. Here we will see the marketplace going down for Trout. Trouting is having a real bad time. There we hear the relic sound. Koekenbakker. Did he see the relic now? Oh my god, no he did not. So unfortunate. And we will have to see what units Kookaburra will actually make to kill his opponents. Because I think when it comes to land priority, Trout does actually beat him in that. By a great margin. Not that it really matters. As I said before, I really like naval priority over land priority in this map. Because as you can see right now, there's absolutely no way that these units can get to Kookaburra's base in any way. If he somehow gets a transport ship, it will instantly get killed before it even gets close to this shore. If he walks up to this wall, he will just move his navy up to here and he will just kill the units. And if he moves up to here, he will actually get to the base because Kookaburra built his walls wrong. But don't mind that. You get my point. Defensive back archery range for Trout, building the units. He's feeling the heat, and actually the first villagers of Kookaburra have entered the shores of Trout, and he's actually building the aggressive castle, as I said. And now that I watch this castle, I actually think that this is just above the ground. I think it's just above the base ground, so that castle does have a attack bonus, but I think it will die before it will shoot any arrows. Those cannon galleons having those insane range. And we see the castle being built and not much being done about it. Not that he can do that much. And once it is done, this army will have a real hard time actually getting it down. You will see multiple barracks coming out for Kookaburra, and now we will see Trout actually attempting maybe to stop this. I mean, he must see this, right? Yes, he did see the barracks, he did see the castle, of course, so he does know something is going on here. Now he will attempt to attack it, which will be to no avail. This is absolutely, there's no point doing this. You see some Huskarls in there. Let's see if we can click on one. Yes. As you can see, they have 6 base pierce armor. 6, it's insane. So strong against pierce armor, or piercing damage units, actually. Not so strong against melee units. And there we actually see the berserkers that have 1 pierce armor of themselves. A lot of damage and quite a bit of health. Very sturdy units. 84 health for the Viking champion. And here we will see Kookaburra switching on the kill switch and going at it at Trout's villagers. And here's when Trout is in a real pickle. He actually bells, pulling all these villagers away. What he could have done is just put walls here and put walls there. He has the stone, just very quickly build stone walls. You don't have to finish them in order to block the movement from your opponent, but it gets your villagers to safety faster. So I would have liked that more rather than pulling out the villagers from working. Here we see a siege ram for Kookaburra to speed up the building destruction. And I'm afraid that it will be over for Trout any minute now. Because there's not really anything that he can do about it. He's actually running away and the wolf will actually kill the villagers. And he did build loom, so he will survive that probably. But still, painful enemies everywhere in the dangerous world. We actually see some sheep that will not get killed. Very nice. And we actually see a new town center. A nice idea from Trout to get his villagers to safety. But Kookaburra just has too much pressure, too much power, too much economic prowess in order to do something about this. And the trebuchets will actually go to this side. And the chemistry that has of course been used for the cannon galleons will now also be used by the trebuchets. And all the buildings will go down that much faster. And there we see the GG from Trout. I think that is a correct time to GG. Kookaburra also GG's, and the resign will come in very soon. And that will mean that the first point for Kookaburra will be against Trout. And that means that Kookaburra and Paperstake will now be on top of this group with just 1 game to go. Very nice game in which we could see Kookaburra at work and how he does it with building that strong economy. Something for his opponents to think about. Maybe search for the weaknesses. For Trout, painful experience, I'm sure. Maybe once he gets to play versus other players, it will be a little bit more of a match. But that can happen, that's how tournaments go, especially when you are randomly seeded into the groups. Here we see the timings, all fine and well. Here we see the absolute domination from Koekebakker. Right, okay, so that's already the second game of today. The time is 20:38, a little bit late. I think this one will go a little bit longer than Tuesday, but that's no problem whatsoever. And we will just go to the last game of that Castle Age, which will be Nodori versus Wildel. Now, I do know these players a little bit, but I have absolutely no clue how good they are at Age of Empires. So interested to see how that will go. On the right side, in blue, it is Nodori playing as the Chinese. On the left side, we have, in red, Wildel playing as the Franks. Very interesting matchup there. As always, let's very quickly go to the civilization bonuses. And let's first look at the Chinese there. The Chinese, we've already seen them in play this tournament Tuesday. And the Chinese are, of course, an archer civilization. And they have a really strange start. And I'm interested to see if Nodori manages to correctly play it. Did he make Loom? He did not make Loom. It's really important to start out with Loom as a Chinese, because you cannot make any villagers at the start of the game. And you can use that time to actually research Loom and get your strong start to really work. But he didn't. And now that means that he will be at a disadvantage, because it's a long time before he can actually make units. But 3 villagers, it's nice. Again, it's a strange start, but if you play it out nice and correct, it can be a really good start. You have the cheaper technologies, which is a real interesting bonus that gets you to be a bit more versatile with your strategy, and in terms of resources really ramps up while it gets late game and you really get a lot of technologies going. Then you have the town centers that support more population, really strange bonus, really nice for the early game, and maybe for that little bit of wood efficiency in the Castle Age when you're building these town centers, but for the rest not too much to look at. And then we have the demolition ships that have 50% more hit points. Very handy to get your demolition ship where you want them to be, next to the ships of the enemy, and then blow them to bits. Then you have the Chukonu that fire multiple arrows. Very interesting unit, very niche unit, and well messed up, can be very scary. So interested to see if Nodori will actually get to that stage of the game and get those mass Chukonu. And then you have the unique technology, which is, of course, is the rocketry, which gives more attack power to the Chukonu and the Scorpions. Get the range damage in for the Chinese. And then the farm bonus, that is the 45% flat food, which is again a wood bonus, because it just makes you make less farms and you can use that wood for other things. So the Chinese archer civilization, I really like the Chinese because you can do some really interesting and strange funky strategies with them that can work out once played correctly. So really interested to see if we can see some Chukonus this game. And then on the other side we of course have the Franks. The Franks for Wildel. Franks, of course, one of the strongest Night Rush civilizations in the game. They have that castle that costs 25% less, really handy, because stone is so valuable in this game, and you can use this stone to get more walls or maybe more castles. Really nice bonus. The knights have plus 20% hit points. That is a lot. Your knights don't have 100 hit points, they have 120 hit points, and they are so tanky because they also have that base 1/1 armor already, so makes your knights so tanky, and that's one of the reasons why your Night Rush with the Franks is so scary. Then we have the unique unit, which is the Throwing Axeman. It is the ranged unit that does melee damage. Really interesting unit. and a very niche unit that when used correctly can do a lot of damage and cause a lot of trouble. And then you have the unique technology, which is the Bearded Axe, which gives that Axeman an extra range. A very even more niche technology for when you are using a lot of Axemen and you are actually trying to kite them, to get them to kite some archers, which can be effective because archers can have a real hard time in versus Bearded Axemen in certain situations. And then we have the team bonus that knights have +2 line of sight, and that is really handy because that means that once you have those early knights out in the castle age and you are going to your opponent's base, you can spot these resources and the key points of his base that much easier, that much quicker, and react to it faster, and it makes your night rush that more efficient and effective. So really nice bonus. The Franks, I said one-off, but I think safely say by far the strongest Night Rush civilization in the game. And that's also what makes them a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Like the opposite of surprising. It's really easy to detect what a Frank player is going to do, because it's almost always going to be a Night Rush because it's so strong. It's even so strong that if your opponent knows it, it can still do a lot of damage. I guess what I tried to say is that it's really obvious. The strategy is really obvious. Both players, still Dark Age. It's minute 8:30. That's around the time that the first click-ups could happen. Wildel though at 60 foot, Nodori at 110 foot, so 112 actually. So both nowhere near close. Actually, you see some city planning going on here for Nodori and actually deleting that house before it got built. Don't really like this displacement. Oh, what is this? Interesting stuff going on here. Building in a cross for reasons unknown. He's blocking all this space to build farms. As I said earlier, you want to build your farms around your town center first, not over here, to get them to safety when there are knights from the Franks in your base. And also you can use these houses. If you built those houses right here, he would have had himself a real nice wall off. This is an amazing spot because this is one of those wall offs that can protect you from getting attacked, because if you have naval priority, you can actually protect these houses. Now right over here, oh my god, this is an amazing map for Nodori. Look at this. He can just build 2 houses and 1 piece of palisade right here, and this will also be blocked off pretty close to his own base. So it's a really, I would give the map in favor of Nodori. Interested to see if he is going to use it. We see Wildel actually massing up a lot of sheep. Well, Wildel is already using his wood to get these farms down. Now, that is a big advantage for Wildel, but we'll actually see Nodori having more points. So we go to the scouting status of both players. We see that Nodori didn't really scout anything but his own base, which is not a problem. It's always really important to know where your starting resources are at any time to get your most efficient possible base down. Oh, no, that's not the button that I wanted to push, it's that one. And for Wildel, actually the same story. Both players not really interested to see what their opponent is up to and just wanting to see where their resources are at. Wildel used this time to scout this entire area, and that's probably why he had that much sheep. So he really used his scout in a useful way there, getting all these sheep. Well, Nodori, let's see where his sheep are at. 2 sheep right here. I suspect these are from Nodori. Or from no one really, actually, because they're just extra sheep spawning on Baltic, as we've learned. We see a lot of close deer there for Nodori. He could have also farmed the deer. Instead of making the farms, using your wood to build a dock, using that other spare wood to build units, and using the units to kill your enemy. And killing your enemy is what you have to do to win this game and win the tournament and win the grand prize. Grand prize is actually now at 60 euros. I'm sure it will go up. The tournament will go on for a month or 2, so enough time. Nodori not really making any efforts to go and farm his gold, and now we see Nodori actually doing the same thing as Ole did earlier today, and that is making this mining camp in the middle of 2 stone mines, which is a nice idea. I absolutely understand why Nodori is doing it, but by not choosing any of the stone mines, they are both not efficient. You want to build them there or there, and the 100 extra wood is absolutely worth it. So I do not like the placement of this mining camp whatsoever. Just pick one and efficiently mine from that. And actually Wildell does the same thing now. These are 4 tiles away and 3 tiles away, and these are both 3 tiles away. 3 tiles is still a bit much. Still a bit much in my opinion. Just build 2. In this instance, because it is gold and stone and it is early and it is in the early game, you could justify it, but I would have liked to see that wood that you're not using for any for the extra mining cap. I would have liked to see that wood building a dock, building a barracks, building something to get you further into the game. And now he's just having less efficient villagers with no real advantage on the other side. I hear a dog sound, and I actually see a dog for Nodori, and now I actually see a feudal age for Nodori, and Wildell will follow very soon. So this will mean that Nodori will have the naval priority with quotes, with quotations, because it's not really making any effort to make any boats whatsoever, and he is not mining any gold. So without gold you can't really make any galleys. He has 100 gold in the bank, of course, from the startup, but that's nearly not enough to make any sort of meaningful navy. Now we see Wildell going up here and instantly putting down a barracks too. Let's see if he will use the barracks to maybe make more military production buildings, or to make more buildings to castle up. Amazing. Always, when you're looking at your resources, when you're scouting your base, always pay attention to where your resources are spawning. This is amazing for Wildell. Absolutely amazing. This is what we call back gold and back stone, because it's in the back of your base. It's a place where your opponent cannot really go. Once your gold is over here, or maybe over there, and you have to use it maybe as part of the wall of, which you never really want to do, but sometimes you get forced in that situation, it gives your opponent a chance to use his galleys or archers to harass the villagers trying to mine. And once you have the back resources, you know you have that advantage, and that your villagers are nicely tucked into your base. Same story for Nodori somewhat. He has 2 gold patches next to each other, which is nice. He has the stone patches next to each other. This is a back gold. This is somewhat of a back gold. It's kind of nice. These stone patches, however, are way out of his base, which is a bit unfortunate. We see a lot of spearmen actually coming out for Nodori. Interested to see why he went for the spearmen. He still didn't scout his opponent whatsoever, so he has no clue what to make, but he made a transport ship and he made the spearmen. So I'm very sure we will very soon see some early aggression for the first time today, and maybe we'll see some shenanigans going on. Scout being idle, always a shame. There's so much to do. Sheeps to find, informations to gather. Where are the sheep? Where are the relics? Where are the choke points in the map where I can wall off and defend myself easily? Where are the extra deer? And where is my opponent? And what is he doing? Is he making units? Is he collecting resources? Is he being greedy? Is he being greedy, huh? Maybe I can make some units and attack with them. And as we speak, oh nope, they were just stretching the legs. Interested to see if Nodori will use these units anytime soon. We'll actually go with stable and archery range down to castle age buildings. So as I said, a chance for Nodori to actually get to those castle age if he wanted to. He doesn't really have the food for it, but he has a lot of farms, so he will get there quickly if he wants to. On the other side, we see Wildell doesn't have any castle or feudal age buildings, excuse me, so doesn't really have a way to go castle age. Well, he does have the resources. He's getting there to actually do something. Now, spearmen are still not doing really anything. There are actually some units in there. Let's see what is in that transport. Wait, what? Oh, that's the armor. I'm sleeping. Sorry, I thought it said 4 of the 8. I thought it was the unit capacity, but it's not. You can keep 5 units in there, but there are none. Again, talked about this today. If you build units, use them. This is just a pile of resources wasted. You could have used the wood to build more buildings to get your villagers to be more efficient, and you could have used the food to get castle age faster and to build more villages. But slowly but steadily, Nodori will get to that castle age resource mark. He's actually making a variety of units, which I like. We actually see a defensive watchtower from Wildell on the side here. I'm hoping to see a wall next to it, so that the units can just simply walk past this. But I'm afraid we won't. And it is starting to slow down again. I was hoping for some early aggression. Where did the transport ship go? There it is. It only has the scout. I think the scout is told Nodori that he was a little bit sleepy, a little bit tired, and just wanted to get escorted. The scout's getting escorted to the other side of the map, into unknown territory. Probably to see where his opponent is. Meanwhile, Wildell's doing the same thing, but is just letting his scout go all the way around here. Nodori actually having a lead of 500 points already. Of course, probably because of the spearman mass and the couple of archers that he has there. Here we see the transport ship arriving the shores of Wildell. Will he? Oh no. Oh no. Please. Yes. Yes, yes. No, don't let your scout get executed. Actually, move the scout. Yes, very good. Move the scout. Now we see that the tower, of course, does not have ballistics or thumb ring, which means that they can miss a lot, which they did. And Nodori is just not even gonna... Well, he must suspect that his opponent is here, considering how the map is. But he's just going to scout around here, spot this relic, spot this little wood line over here, and then maybe reach his opponent. Meanwhile, Wildell is actually making a market, which is a very common building to make in order to castle up. Nodori is going castle age. Wildell does have the resources to go castle age, and I think he realized that he needed the buildings. So yes, there goes the blacksmith. I would have liked it if he just pulled that villager from there and get castle age faster, because you really want to get that fast. And actually, the scout of Nodori dies without really getting much information. He did see the marketplace, he did see the blacksmith if he clicked it, and he did see the barracks with the units. So he does know his opponent has a couple of units. He knows his opponent is placing some defensive buildings, and he also knows that his opponent is planning on getting castle age too. So Nodori has some information there. Curious to see if he will use it. Still some units here doing sweet fuck all. Kind of a common theme for the tournament. And I'm a little bit in panic because I'm out of water. And I'm not sure how long this game will go on for. I'm really not paying that much attention, but we apparently have some spearmen in the base of Wildell, and we will see if Nodori will use the knowledge that he got from the scout earlier to walk to the units here. Now they will actually pick a fight with the men-at-arms. Spearmen are not really that effective versus men-at-arms, but a 5 versus 2 will do. And there the men-at-arms will go down and attack the barracks. Something you maybe wouldn't want to do. Spearmen do actually have bonus damage versus buildings. A little bit, a tiny bit of bonus damage. Not too much to write home about. It would be way better if you actually attack, well, the military units. But even better would be all these units that have no way of protecting themselves. There are no defensive buildings here. There are no walls here. There's only a town center that is so far away. Again, Wildel did not build his farms next to his town center, which he could use to defend his villagers. And the spearmen will actually die to the men-at-arms. Well, maybe this one will just win, but nope, he won't. And that's a little bit unfortunate. And, well, Nodori will just try again with the spearmen. The spearmen are strong versus cavalry and really ineffective versus anything else, really. So, a little bit of a shame to see that choice of unit. And for some reason, Wildel pulled all his units from the gold, so he's not really mining any gold anymore, which is a shame because he really needs it. We see that the transport ship is loading up again. We have 2 transport ships now, and we have a castle in a spot that is actually good. Yes, next to your farms, next to your dock. You can protect all these things. Oh yes, Nodori, very good job. It would have been even better to build it in his base, but yeah, well, getting there. Castle will get built. Transport ship will be ready. Actually, he does have some knights and some cavalry archers in there, so somewhat more of a stronger force. And, well, with 15 units in the bank, I'm interested to see what Wildel will answer. He does know his opponent is a little bit aggressive-minded right now with the drop, so I'm sure he's thinking of something to do. Did pull his villagers back to the gold, so that's very good. Here we see the villagers just walking to the other stone mine. Fuck that stone. The stone is way better. Oh, was that Nodori's? Yes, it was. Wait, where did the sound come from? Hello? Wasn't that the sound of Nodori's archery range? He did have an archery range. He's milking crossbowmen though. Oh, it was of course the siege workshop. Was it? I really need a break. I'm losing focus, guys. Help! The siege workshop. I'm interested to see what it's going to make. It will be mangonel, so ooh, I like mangonel. It's one of my favorite units because you can get so much juicy shots with it. You get to kill so many units, get the cost efficiency of those mangonels out. And we actually see the upgrade for the transport ship, and it can now hold 10 units instead of 5. And here we will see a loaded up army for Nodori, and hoping to see some form of aggression. They're both castle age, but they're both not making, again, any town centers. So both players not really using that economical advantage that the castle age brings. And here we see the first dock going down for Wildel. And that's interesting because if Wildel actually makes some naval units, we will maybe see some battles going on in the form of the naval units killing the transport ship with all the units in there, which will be nice to see. But that does mean that Wildel needs to make units. He's making a fishing ship. Well, it's nice for the economy, but won't do much of anything when it gets killed by all the zero amount of units that Nodori possesses in the sea. Still farming sheep. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. The sheep that were here are gone. There are still sheep here. Somehow. Both players did not walk up here. Nope. Just black spots all over. They have no idea. There may be like 5,000 gold patches here. Just for the taking. They wouldn't have known. This transport ship's just waiting for the mangonels. Let's see if Nodori is making anything else. No. He's making Thumb Ring, a really important upgrade. Making sure that your archers are much more accurate. It does say they have 100% accuracy, which is not really true. It's a little bit misleading because it doesn't mean your archers always hit, but it really helps. Really important upgrade. And here we will see the aggressive positioning of the transport ships of Nodori. No military or naval rather units being built, but a relic for Wildel. And we will see the drop from Nodori. I'm interested to see how much damage this is going to do. Potentially a lot, because there are not really any units for Wildel, and his army is pretty strong. And if you can use that mangonel in an effective way, you can actually bring down some units and some buildings. So here we see the attack for Nodori. Units, the 4 units of Wildel moving up, but he actually has spikes, so the scout will instantly die, and he has the crossbows, so also these longswordmen will instantly die. Wildel will realize that he needs more units, so he will click the barracks and make more units, but that's right about it. And with one barracks you won't really come very far, especially when there are around 25 to 30 units in your base. We have a 25 population for Wildel, and we have a 75 population for Nodori, so real big advantage there. He is not belling his villagers, so yeah, not really a way to protect your villagers there, and all these units are just executing the villagers. And it's looking like with a 1400 advantage, in points for Nodori, that this game will actually go to Nodori. We will see if Wildel chooses the resilient path and actually fight back. But once this barracks will go down, there will be no way for Wildel to actually make units. And as we have stated before, units are pretty important for winning the game. Actually, we will see Nodori clicking the town center and killing the town center of Wildel, and it's looking real good for Nodori. Having a castle doing nothing, having villagers waiting so long that their farms are just fermenting to nothing. And we see him not building new lumber camps to actually make his units efficient. Efficient villagers is something Nodori is absolutely not interested in to any stretch of the imagination. But why should you? You have like an army in the base of your enemy and you're killing everything. So we're having a good time. We see a monk actually converting a cavalry archer, so that is a way for Wildel to get some units, but the monk is on real low health there, and once it will get targeted with one arrow, it will die. And there goes the cavalry archer. And there go the last villagers of Wildel. Wildel not really doing anything to really stop it. Villagers idling. Meanwhile, it's all quiet in Nodori town. Oh, he rebuilt that farm, but he didn't rebuild that one. He will destroy that church and actually stop Wildel from getting that free gold, but it's looking really bad. And well, I'm not sure what to tell you guys. This game is very close to over. These are probably like the last 2 villagers that Wildel has, and once these villagers die, it will be over for Wildel. I think what we can conclude out of the first 3 games is there will be some interesting games when we see like Ole versus Trout and Trout versus Wildel. I think they are on the same skill level. So this is what it will be, and Wildel realizes that it's over for him. He says rip, I guess. I think that is a correct conclusion, Wildel. It's right about the time to press the resign button. But will he? We will have to find out. It's 9 o'clock, almost 9:10. A little bit later than Tuesday, but that's okay. That's okay. We just have a little break for ourselves, and then we will see the Imperial age group as Wildel slowly gets burned down to the ground. He's just watching, staring at the screen because he is only in 1 unit. Oh yeah, I wanted to say and he's doing nothing, but he actually is Is Wilder going to do this? Is he going to no? Is it yes? Is this how it's going to? Is this how it's going to end? No! Run, villager, run! You're the only one alive. Run for your no! Oh, this is so unfortunate. No, fight for your life. You're the only one left. Will the game end when this villager dies? It will. It will end by the wolf. So Nodori hired this wolf to actually end the game, and I think we have to be really thankful that this wolf was right over there and actually finished this game for us. Oh, that's a hilarious ending to the first part of this group stage, day 2 of the group stage. Oh my word, no. That's so great. So, congratulations to Nodori for picking up his first win. And I'm interested to see if Wildell can take some points, maybe versus Trout or versus Olay. And maybe versus Koekenbakker if he practices some more. Again, the stats, the game wasn't really close enough to be relevant in my opinion. Yeah, also here we see that once the game went on, Nodori had that domination going on. So not really interesting to watch. Let's get rid of that and let's watch the matchup screen real quick. We will have a little break. I want to have a 20-minute break to get myself ready for the next 3 games that will be the Imperial age group. First we will see Aquila versus The Fate, then KMA versus Totaldo, and then Wepper Snore versus Flojo. Really interested in these games. Hopefully there will be a close game, some hype, but I think the highlight for this stream will be the wolf kill for Nodori. Absolutely amazing. So I will see you guys in 20 minutes for the Imperial Age games. Yeah, we will then see we'll come out on top of the Imperial Age group. Let me just get that clock going. Let me press start over there and let me go to the break screen, and I will see you fine folks in 20 minutes for the Imperial Age group. Be right back.